Today we come to one of my favorite passages of Scripture to use, particularly in funeral services, but hopefully this will encourage you and not depress you like a funeral might. It's in 2 Corinthians 5, verses 1 through 8. We know that if the earthly tent, which is our house, is to be torn down, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For indeed, in this house we groan, longing to be clothed with our dwelling from heaven. Inasmuch as we are having put it on, will not be found naked. For indeed, while we are in this tent, we groan, being burdened, because we do not want to be unclothed, but to be clothed, so that what is mortal will be swallowed up by life. Now he who prepared us for this very purpose is God, who gave us the Spirit as a pledge. Therefore, being always of good courage, knowing that while we are at home in the body which we are in this body, we are absent from the Lord, for we walk by faith, not by sight. We are of good courage, I say, prefer rather to be absent from the body and to be at home with the Lord. A few minutes ago, I was walking outside and talking with one of my neighbors, and he, like I, have passed the 65 mark, and we were talking about aches and pains, bad knees, bad shoulders, and all of the benefits, if you will, from arthritis. And I think it's very, very important for us to remember, would we rather live in a tent forever, never having had any repair or replacement of the tent, or would we rather live in a beautiful built building by an engineering firm that was built to last without showing signs of wear? I think the answer is quite obvious. After a little while, a tent starts to leak water. After a little while, a tent starts to show some rot. After a little while, a tent lets in the cold or in the heat, and it's not very comfortable inside of a tent. I realize that once in a while out in the woods it's fun, but it's not fun for a permanent thing. And I think the same thing is true of our earthly tents, our bodies. Our bodies are not perfect, and they were made for a season. And God defines that pretty clearly in Psalms. He never intended for our bodies to last forever. But nevertheless, we call it a tent because it is a temporal dwelling place for our soul. And these tents will one day be torn down. But if you're a Christian, that's not a problem, because you're going to get a new house, not a tent, a new house made by God to be eternal in the heavens, a perfect tent, last forever, eternity. And so we can be of good courage, knowing that while we're present in these tents, we are absent from the Lord who's in heaven. And it doesn't mean we don't feel his presence or know that he's watching over us. It just means that we're not in heaven with him. But when these tents wear out and we go to heaven, if we're his, we have an eternal tent, an eternal home rather not a tent, an eternal home. And he says, be of good courage, prefer rather to be absent from this tent and to be at home with the Lord. Now, I don't think we should hasten that by suicide or deliberately doing careless things. Nevertheless, our hope is not in this world, and it's not in these bodies. Our hope is in Jesus Christ, an eternal home in heaven. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.